Fireman Sam favourite stories. Fields of Fire. Fireman Sam was blowing up an inflatable dam outside the fire station. "What have you got there, Sam?" asked Trevor. "It's an inflatable dam," said Sam. "It's used to store water when we're fighting a fire and there's no tap nearby." "I'd love to see it in action," replied Trevor, "but I'm taking Mandy and Norman to the seaside." He jumped into his bus and waved goodbye as Trevor drove through the countryside. The bus exhaust made a loud bang. Did you just sit on a balloon, Mr. Evans?" giggled Norman. "Very funny, Norman," replied Trevor, "but it won't be so funny if the bus breaks down." Suddenly, the bus made 3 loud bangs and little puffs of smoke came out of the exhaust before it stopped. Trevor got off the bus and looked underneath the bonnet. "I'm going to try to fix it." Trevor said to the children, "Wait there, don't wander off." Meanwhile, Norman and Mandy noticed a funny sign near the gate. After working out that it meant no campfires, they realised that Dusty was missing. Hearing a bark in the distance, the children ran to find him. In the countryside, Dusty was barking loudly. He chased a field mouse. Norman and Mandy spotted him and were close behind. "Look, someone hasn't put their campfire out," said Mandy as she spotted a smoking fire on the ground. "We should tell Trevor." "Let's find Dusty first," said Norman. The 2 children chased off after Dusty just as the campfire set alight again. Norman and Mandy chased after Dusty and finally caught up with him. They stopped suddenly and landed in a heap on the floor. "It's gone really foggy," said Norman, as smoke billowed across them. "That's not fog," said Norman. "That's not fog, Norman. It's smoke," Mandy realised. "It must be that campfire." "Mr. Evans, help!" Norman and Mandy shouted. Out on the roadside, Trevor had fixed the bus. He could faintly hear Norman and Mandy calling out in the distance. Trevor looked over the wall and saw smoke rising from the field. "Oh my goodness," he cried. Trevor quickly dialed 999 on his phone. At the fire station, Station Officer Steele picked up the emergency message. "Action stations, everyone," he said. "A field is burning on the coast road and Mandy and Norman are stuck in it." There's no water for miles around here," said Fireman Sam. "Elvis, you load the dam. I'll radio Tom at Mountain Rescue." "Nina, Nina!" The fire engine Jupiter raced along the country lanes with its lights flashing. It stopped next to Trevor on his bus. Sam, Elvis and Station Officer Steele leapt out and headed across the field with the hoses in the dam. The field was filled with thick smoke. "Help, help, we're over here," shouted Norman. Meanwhile, Tom Thomas was flying over Pontypandy Lake in his helicopter. Wallaby One was carrying a huge bucket. It swooped down, lowering the bucket carefully into the lake. "I'm picking up the water now. Be with you in 2 minutes, Sam," said Tom into his headset. Then he set off towards the field. Meanwhile, the officers had set up the dam. "Right, man, I'll supervise the water drop," said Officer Steele. Tom lowered the bucket towards the inflatable dam. "Left a bit, Tom. That's it," said Officer Steele, tipping the water into the dam. "Now, Sam, Elvis, find those children." Carrying hoses and breathing apparatus, they walked into the smoke. Sam and Elvis set their hoses on fire, and soon the smoke started to bellow away. Dusty raced towards them, and Norman and Mandy trooped sadly alongside. "Thank goodness you're all right," said Sam. "You gave us quite a fright wandering off like that." "Sorry, Sam," said Mandy and Norman. It was too late to go to the seaside, but Sam told everyone to go to the fire station instead. When they arrived, it looked just like a beach. Tom's helicopter flew overhead, top up to the dam. Elvis quickly grabbed the bucket, tipping water all over Station Officer Steele. Hee, giggled Norman and Mandy. The end.